After the age of castles and forests had begun to dwindle, there was a researcher. Hollow-bodied but sharp of mind, he was touched by a weakness that dulled the marrow of his body and thickened the lifeblood of his veins to a slow and monotonous flow. No medic, no healer could reach in and scoop out the rot that he felt. When he awoke in the mornings, the sun's light was dimmed through an ache that no amount of reading or research could teach him how to alleviate. Now, this was a scientist, so some might think he would not believe in fantastic stories. But a good scientist knows that for every story, there is a source, that every fact begins as a theory. And this scientist, through his illness and his devotion, heard a story that he believed was more than a dusty tale. So the scientist sought assistance, threw himself into work, reached out with shaking hands to any who could help. He was laughed at. He turned to rituals, science too in their own way, and the researcher uncovered a legend. Story of a creature whose blood, through just a taste, would cleanse any sin, would heal any harm, would redeem the most pitiful of souls. And he did what a good scientist does, with no one else to offer. He used himself as a test subject. He sought his answers deep in a distant wood. His companions disregard his work. His superiors leave him for dead. And all of those who thought him a fool laughed even harder when he never returned, claiming the illness was always going to take him. He died on that fool's errand, searching for signs of a unicorn. I'm Alex. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns. You can find me most places at Aldermancy or at Sword Ghost. And welcome to the Unicorn Hunt.
Hi, everybody. My name is Christian, aka Fluffy Goomba, on several socials. Pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Archimedes. Pronouns also he, him.
Hi, my name is Sloan, aka Arplebe. My pronouns are they, them, and I am going to be playing Talia, she, her.
Hi, I'm Depth. I go by they, them pronouns, and I will be playing Teddy, who goes by she, they pronouns.
Hi, I'm Serenity. I go by she, any pronouns, and I'll be playing Vesla, who goes by any or no pronoun.
Hi, I'm Dylan, or Super Dylan. I go by she, he, and they pronouns, and I am playing Shane, who goes by he and they pronouns.
And hey everybody, my name is Andre. I use he, they pronouns, and I am the game master alongside Alex. We open today's ring the following morning after Teddy, Talia, and Shane were up last night, and Shane and Talia discovered 2 red lights in the woods, and while the 3 of them were gone, they came back to find that Cage's prized Congress truck was skewered by a tree, seemingly instantaneously and without a sound. The next morning, Cage is in grief. There is a strange hesitation from some of the other pack members, especially the more superstitious lot. The animals all seem to be active, but also a little bit weary, sensing the energy coming from the other members of the caravan. And the rest of the party that Cage has acquired for this particular mission are also up, busy packing up camp and preparing to go deeper into the woods despite the vehicle's destruction. Does anyone have anything that they are doing? What is everyone doing as they are preparing to leave and go further into the Bloodwood?
I think Archimedes is first. He's going to find like a reflective surface to like maybe check if his eyes are still the same as they were yesterday, or if they've reverted back to more pleasant looking ones.
You manage, as you are looking over the wreckage of the truck, notice that some of the oil from the hull of the engine has leaked, and it's provided you a mirror without making it explicit.
Mm-hmm.
You look down into the black rainbow that lies on the ground, and it seems as though your eyes are still canine.
Running out of time. He'll back away from the reflective surface and make sure his eyes are covered by his hair.
I am making myself useful to Cage in whatever way I possibly can. I imagine that most of that is going to be lifting heavy objects.
You're working alongside Howitzer, Howie, who's another member of the pack, who has been charged with being the primary caretaker of the elephant that Cage has recruited for this particular mission, with the carriage behind it. And Howie is helping you. He's also quite athletic and built, so he's helping lift up any of the tents and cargo that, since the car has now been destroyed, has to be relocated to the elephant. And anything that the elephant can't physically bear himself is being moved into the carriage.
Cool. Does the elephant have a name?
It does not. Would you like to name it?
Yeah, I do. Oh god, what's a good elephant name? What about, Ollie?
Ollie?
Yeah.
This elephant's name has always been Ollie.
I give Ollie a pat.
Ollie...
Is it a male male?
It is a male Asian elephant. So it has the two domes on top of the head instead of the one like an African elephant, and sort of that pink freckled trunk. And you're petting the trunk. You also, as you are sort of reassuring Ollie, are noticing you work with animals in a different sense most of the time, but you can tell that Ollie is in distress. Seems to be swaying from side to side, flapping his ears a little bit more than usual.
What's up, big guy? You okay? Just look at his big, look up into his big eyes. Just kind of trying.
And his eyes are physically large, but appear very small on his massive head, and even smaller by the size, by the black of his eyes, with almost like a bullseye. His eyes go black, yellow, and then a black pupil. And they are still very wide as you are trying to comfort him.
Keep going, but I do try and slip him some treats if we have any.
Yes.
Yeah, and That's all. That's what I'm doing.
I think Teddy is has packed up and is ready to go, but at the moment they're probably a little bit of ways, not entirely out of earshot. So when Teddy's speaking a little bit louder, people could probably hear. But Teddy's kind of crouched down, kind of like crouched on the like balls of their feet, just balancing, and they have Greenie on a little like branch that's kind of like eye height, and they seem a little bit more frantic in their movements as they're kind of talking to Greenie, and they kind of like look a little bit frustrated, and they're kind of like picking twigs off of the ground and like snapping them and kind of like giggling to themselves. looking a little bit more unhinged than usual today, as she's just kind of like speaking like it joyfully, and then there'll be just a moment as she cracks a twig,
Cool.
throws it, and then goes back to.
Wow, that is unhinged.
And that's what Teddy's doing.
Is the car still in the tree?
The car is still skewered by the tree. That is
It's
correct.
still skewered by the tree. Okay. Shane would like to go to the car. And Shane would like to do a little levitate up to it, because I'm getting that dog.
There's a dog?
Which dog?
Unless I'm misremembering
the ornament on the
ornament.
hood. I
the hood
see.
ornament.
Yes.
I'm gonna snap it off.
Make me a risk roll since you're using a ritual.
I am. That is correct. Okay. So that is just a dark die, right? Yes. Okay.
I
Do you
believe
have
so.
any skills that you could apply to it? To levitate?
Only if I lie to you. So no.
I mean, it is your prerogative to use those skills as need be.
Precision is the best I could come up with here, but I really don't have anything to justify what I'm doing.
I would say that
I'm still gonna do it.
The hood ornament is honestly probably at the peak of the car, so you are going to need precision to try and acquire it.
I appreciate you. You're a good person.
Can I offer a devil's bargain?
Please do.
When you try to take it off, you manage to take it off, but you whack yourself in the head and get an egg on your head.
That's the
Great.
devil's bargain.
Great.
God.
That's funny.
You know what? It's a good start.
Shane is quickly becoming very cartoonish, unibrow and big giant red bump in the head. I take it. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay. So I got a 6 and a 3 on my light dice.
Great.
And a 6 on my dark die.
Oh.
So that means that I still do take the
You take
ruin.
the ruin. That's right.
Correct.
What is your
Okay.
ruin at now?
5.
You are now also at 5.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh my lord.
That's ease.
Yeah.
You.
But I do get it, right?
You succeed. Yes. You see the hood ornament that is in the shape of a dog, a hunting dog. Not quite the ones that Cage uses. They're not foxhounds. They're not bloodhounds. It seems to be more of like a mastiff. And almost in the same shaping as like a jaguar hood ornament of like the reared position. And you managed to and just rip it off, but your own strength defeats you, and you caused injury to yourself.
I sure do.
I believe they also get a condition.
Ooh.
The lump on your forehead is the condition.
Okay.
Wait. Alex is shaking his head.
The lump on your head is something that automatically happens as part of your devil's bargain, but as your ruin increases and the forest gets a little bit more of a hold over you, something else happens, some other condition in this moment.
Okay.
Yes. Just as I think that Teddy's condition was that she started puking leaves.
Mm.
I'm happy to suggest one if you would like, Andre.
Let's hear a suggestion.
All right. Shane, as you grasp this token in your hand and look down at it, having wounded yourself to take it, you begin to get a bit of a lust for shiny and sharp things. You see the teeth of the dog. You are surrounded by Cage's hunting pack, and there's just something that makes you feel safe, protected by, things that are shiny and metal and sharp. So looking at the dog's teeth, looking at this statue, looking down at the thing that you wear around your neck makes you feel safer. You have this attraction to sharp and shiny things. Does that sound all right to you?
That sounds great. I walk over to Cage.
Ha!
Cage actually seems to be having a bit of a kerfuffle with Snipes, who is one of the higher ranking members of the pack, and says, "Get the damn horses, Snipes." And Snipes seems to walk off with a bit of a stone face as you come around, and Cage rotates and says, "Hey, Jesus Christ, you good?"
It's nothing. And Shane will chuck the hood ornament over to Cage, underhanded.
He catches it. "You got this off the hood?"
Yeah, I didn't want you to have to say goodbye without something.
That thing meant a lot and cost a lot, so I appreciate that a lot, Shane. Thank you.
Yeah. No, don't mention it. What's good with the horses?
Well, I was having the boys ride on the horses, but everybody up front is kind of primary crew, so they're going to be taking horses. We're going to have a new lineup, and the boys will be catching a ride with the carriages, with the cargo for the most part. One might be in there with the dogs, so.
That's funny. So we're on horses.
Yeah.
All right. Suppose I can do that. And anything happen last night besides the car?
One moment. Oh, I'm a fool. I didn't switch my overlay. Thank you, Alex. I didn't hear anything last night. You would have thunk that, a 2,000-pound vehicle getting maimed by a tree that looks no younger than 50 that grew overnight would be something you hear, but
You would think. It's going to be very interesting in there.
sure is. Vesla.
So, similarly to, yet unlike Shane, he will also be going up to the car, but instead to grab shinies, Vesla would like to try to see if there's anything we can pull from the car that could still be usable. Like maybe siphoning the gas to put it in an empty alcohol bottle for later, pulling the belts off the engine, fuses, anything like that that might be of use.
Roll me a. Oh, Alex, how do you feel about this being a hunt roll?
Ooh, I would be interested in that. That is, searching.
I'll switch over to Alex to explain the hunt roll for you.
Amazing. Well, this is the unicorn hunt, which means it is time for a hunt roll. So, when you press deeper towards the forest in pursuit of a specific and immediate goal, you need to say specifically how you're exploring your environment, what you're looking for, and then gather your six-sided dice. You take one die just for exploring the world and asking the GM, me or Andre, questions about it. You can take another light die if you have a skill or piece of equipment that would make your hunt easier. And then you roll the dice. If your highest die, I will not tell you the results yet, but I will say that you can, of course, add some dark die to your roll if you would like to expose yourself to risk and danger in order to have a better chance at getting a higher roll.
For an item, can I utilize my jar of glowworms to look into the deep and darker edges of the engine or in the car to search nooks and crannies?
Yeah, I like that. I'll allow you to take an additional light die for that.
Heck
And
yeah.
give me just another question or description. You said you're digging pretty deep. Are you taking apart the engine? Little more
Uh,
description.
Sure. So Vesla is going in and looking through the car itself, whether it's the engine or whatever might be able to be utilized from the car, even though disheveled and ripped apart by flora. Anything that could be useful, maybe probably all the way whole, if not mostly whole, rather than ruined. So I am looking for useful items that could help us either damaging wise or information wise to get further into the forest.
Fabulous. And you may roll your two light-sided die. Your two light-colored die for me.
Got it. 6 and a 6.
Fantastic. That means you will take a token, Vesla. If you had gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, you might have encountered something terrible. But here, you just take a token. And these tokens are things that you can use to get closer to the unicorn as part of the mechanics of our game. So, by spending 3 tokens, you find what you came here for. Now, I think that as you dig through the car, as you are searching for something possibly useful, certainly there are some metal elements that you could take apart, put together, that might be useful if you were to try and exit the forest or repair the car, or even bits of the engine that are actually intact, oil that you could use to supplement a torch or a lantern or a light if you're going into the forest without an actual mechanical lantern. So those are things that might assist you. But the real treasure that you find as you are pouring through the car and looking is that there is a particular branch that has made its way sort of like out the back that you're able to pull off, that is a bit of a harder wood material, I would say, a bit more unusual, just like a long pronged branch that seems like it would be just perfect for both shaping into a stake and setting part of it alight. There's sort of one element to it that's very sharp, and then a bushy element off of this one branch, so you might be able to stab something and also use it as a light at the same time. And that is your token.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And clarifying question for Alex: you can use tokens prior to collecting 3 to use it for other purposes, correct?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can spend tokens to find other kinds of treasure. Specifically, if there's something that your character is looking for that might be considered, an element of a treasure, not just something materially valuable, but something that your character is seeking, you can spend tokens to find treasures, yes.
Great.
You find that very handy dandy branch. I'll also say you managed to collect oil. The hull of the car is pretty vertical, so it's just a matter of cracking open a pipe and just having a bottle. And you can get a belt or two. Eventually, Snipes comes back around. Cage calls everybody to order. All right, let's move. And there's a trail of horses, very fine, thoroughbred, strong horses meant for riding. And Cage takes a fine black stallion. And there is another very fine, almost like Appaloosa, next to it, and says, Talia, and just kind of passes the saddle. You're up front.
Yeah. I use my incredibly muscular arms and just like grab the pommel and swing up. Full body, just not a running start, but like looks like they've done this a bit.
Snipes is holding onto the reins of the Appaloosa as you just swing on top, and there is an ire coming from him as Cage calls you to the front.
Just give him a wink.
Motherfucker. And just like puts the reins in your hands kind of forcefully and storms off.
Thanks, Snipes.
And I believe, let me double check something.
You got horses? You got horses? Barbie Horse Adventures?
No. Just, I think we had a general pecking order that Cage wanted everybody in. It was,
It's in our little GM talk channel for
Let
you,
me-
Andre.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, the hounds are actually in front. They're not on leashes right now. Cage and Talia are side by side. Then Teddy and Shane are begin like a single file line, followed by Archimedes, then Vesla, who's in the back, as Cage instructs them again to keep an eye on everybody up front, in front of them. Then the elephant with Howie on top, and the boys hanging with the cargo in the back of the carriage. That is the pecking order.
Oh yeah.
The procession begins again. No longer encumbered by the rumbling and rattling and smoke and exhaust of the vehicle. You press forward in a perhaps more traditional sense of a safari. The dogs begin their sniffing, their tracking, as Cage just begins to straddle forward on the stallion and leads everybody forward into the Bloodwood. Now, the Bloodwood itself is fairly thick, even at the outskirts. These trees are fairly tall, gnarled, branched, and most people associate the Bloodwood with the leaves that it sprouts throughout the year, which are always red, hence why it's called the Bloodwood. There are rock formations that jut out at sharp angles. There are birds that flutter in and out. One of them perches on a tree top, and then out of the corner of your eye, you think you see a figure, an animalistic figure that has something coming from its head, but it's just a quail. And the wood gets thicker. The brambles get sharper. But you march through. gonna switch over to Alex.
All right. As the procession continues, each of you mounted on horseback, the dogs, spittle flying, are overeager, pushing their way through the brambles. The horses underfoot buck slightly. They're slower than you would like them to be. You can feel them shift as they try and navigate their way through the wood. I think Andre might agree, Cage probably seems impatient and frustrated with the progress that you are making, and the elephant lagging behind with slow thumps startles off that quail, startles off any birds that you're passing by. This is just taking so long. But it is time, once again, for another hunt roll. Which means that I will allow anyone who wants a hunt roll to make one. I will say the more rolls that you do, the more chances you have to gain tokens, but also the more chances you have to encounter terrible things.
Yoink.
Yeah, I definitely would like to.
Do you think we should do them one by one just to...
Yeah, we can do them one by one. All right, then we'll start with Shane. Shane, please describe for me how you are specifically investigating your environment, and also if you have any relevant skills or equipment you would like to use.
Yeah. I want to look for thorns. Do we think we have like lots of vines that have sharp thorns on them in these woods?
We'll see. All right, looking for thorns.
And I would like to use blood as my skill for searching that.
Tell me a little more about that.
Thorns are a natural weapon. There is an animal we're tracking. Chances are could get caught on them, could deter them, could show us where not to go. And also I want them. So.
All right, I'll allow it. You can give me 2 rolls. You have 2 light-sided dice.
Okay. That is a 4 and a 6.
Amazing. Well, with that highest roll being a 6, you are going to find a token without yet encountering something terrible. So, again, progress is slow, and I don't think there are as many vines that are particularly natural here, but as you guys push just a little bit deeper, the sun fading away behind you as the canopy begins to, as I said, grow thicker overhead, you do see that there is a certain pest-like plant. I'm not sure you would actually be familiar with it, but you can definitely tell it's not as natural, that some of the trees that you're passing by are almost strangled at the base by this thick red root. Seems to be growing from some other plant, that is rooted right alongside, almost strangling the life out of the larger trees to the point where they look like they could be pushed over from these tight indentations. And as you're passing by, you do note that some of these red, thick vines are also covered in very sharp thorns, which, of course, with your condition, you note even more in particular. And I think your token this time, with these branches and thorns that you're passing by, is that you do spy, looks like some kind of material that's been caught in some of these thorns, as maybe you pause for a moment when the elephant has to be tugged between a slightly smaller area and guided through. You can pause for a moment and you pull up this thin, almost semi-transparent, sinew-like material that's been caught in some of the thorns, almost like a thin silk of some kind, but as you pull it up, bits of it start to flake away in your hands. You're not sure what material this is, but I guess the closest thing you might say is the hair of a unicorn or some other creature that has unusual, net-like hair.
And I'm able to get a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's your token. Who would like to go next? Is anyone else making a hunt roll?
I'm interested in trying my hand at this.
Mm-hmm.
I do, because of my occupation,
Mhm.
I have an ability called surprise.
Mm.
And I'm wondering if I can use that to take a look at just our surroundings and start putting together ideas for how to use this to our advantage, how to use the environment to our advantage, how to move like quietly through the forest, something along that line. If that sounds acceptable and
good to me.
good.
Yeah, I think that sounds acceptable to me. And you said you are using a particular skill, so you get 1 light die for that.
Yes.
All right, then roll your 2 dice.
Okay. I got 2 light die. I got a 5 and a 2.
All right. So Talia, let's take a look here. You will take a token, Talia, but you encounter something terrible. I'm gonna pass it back over to Andre, I think, for this description.
Thank you.
Or is there a max to do, or?
I think we have to tackle the terrible thing I encounter first.
Oh,
before we
okay.
keep
Yes,
going.
yes. Let me switch back to me. So, you're trying. Remind me again what specifically you were like trying to search for using surprise.
I am searching for ways that I know would help us, things that would help us in the environment to aid us in like a surprise effort with this creature that we're going to hunt.
Perfect. Talia, you've been on several hunts with Cage, and Cage despite many of his moral failings, is a master tracker.
Mm-hmm.
And you've learned not only the basics of game trails and scents, but even smaller details to pick up a specific quarry. You are investigating the grounds in the Bloodwood, still thick and a little bit wet from the dew earlier this morning. And you managed to spot gold. Something shimmering on the ground. You go forward. It's not solid. It appears to be almost like a splatter. The consistency is, from what you can see, fairly runny, as it just slowly is like easing down some of the pebbles and the twigs and the weeds beneath your feet.
Can I draw my sword and dip it into this puddle? Is it a moving thing, or is it just stationary?
It seems to be a drip of something that has like fallen and splattered and just seems to be moving downhill, as opposed to like a sentient thing.
I'm gonna take my sword out and dip it.
As you draw your sword and you are slowly edging the blade towards the gold, there's another drop from above.
Oh, I look up.
This is not the same gold color. This is glittery. This is thick. This seems like a different consistency, almost more mucus-like, like snotty.
Gross.
As you look up, there is a lurching sound right next to you.
Oh, fuck.
You look up and you see a large hanging bulb, almost like an anglerfish.
Ugh.
It is where the constant dripping seems to be coming from, and it is bright, sort of like lime greenish, almost like that highlighter yellow along this sort of extension. As you look further across this creature, you see two stalks pop out. And two small, almost mandibles slowly wiggling.
Is this an angler snail? Is that what this is?
It lurches forward. And it immediately covers the blood that you had just discovered. And this thing is massive. This is 10 feet at just the head, at the tip. Probably another 4 or 5 feet with the extension of the light. This is a gigantic slug that is a sort of pastel translucent color. The mucus running off of it is sparkly and shiny, and its body seems to undulate between blues and teals and yellows and pinks.
Hell yeah.
Its head is almost phallic in the way that the skin rolls over its head.
Ugh! Hateful.
And it presses forward and is rotating towards you. And the light begins to glow red. And we're gonna jump to combat.
Oh my god.
Ah!
Oh my god.
Yay!
Yeah, how much of that do we all notice?
That was a big ass slug.
It's a big fucking slug.
Okay.
All right. Well, it is time for combat, my
Combat!
dear hunting party, which means you are facing your first monstrosity here in the forest.
Gib.
Now,
Gib.
anyone who wishes to partake in a combat role in Trophy is able to partake in it if they see it. So if you all decide that you are going to engage in this fight, you are welcome to do so. I will, of course, warn you that engaging in this fight obviously exposes you to ruin. And let me know how many of us are partaking. Are we all gonna hop in? Anyone holding back or?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in. I mean, obviously. I don't think I have a choice.
I have a question. If we don't partake in the combat, can we do a different thing?
I will probably allow you to make some kind of risk roll on the side if there's something you're doing. Of course, this is a bit of a risky situation. I will also say, yes, you are not being involved in the combat does mean that there are less dice that get rolled to attack the monster, but it also means you don't expose yourself to ruin. So,
Okay, good.
Do have a question.
mm-hmm.
Is the token I have, like, does it need to be pre-sharpened, or is it already, like, you said it could be, so I'm not sure.
No, I would allow you to say it was fairly sharp.
Okay, cool. I'll hop in.
Okay.
I'm muted. Oh, I'm muted. I'll hop in. Sure, fuck, why not?
All right. And Teddy, are you engaging?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, I'm going to need each of you to roll one light die. It would be helpful as well if you would put those dice rolls somewhere. Remember your number. It's going to be important because the number on your die is going to be your weak point, and it represents the risk that you're taking to face the monster. So, when you are going to engage in a combat, you are placing yourself under significant risk. Make sure you know what your weak point is. I will need one for everyone who is partaking. Now, once we have our weak points, here we go. I am going to need you guys to describe how you are exposing yourself to injury or attack as you are attacking this monster. So I think we'll probably begin with Talia doing that, describing, based on each of your weak points, how you are going to attack this monstrosity. And we have our little dice rolls here, so I'm just going to go in that order. We'll have first Talia, and we'll have
What does my
Vesla.
weak point mean?
Your weak point is related to the dice that you're rolling once you all have described how you attack. If any of the dice that you roll match your weak point, you take ruin.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious Talia is up at the front. And she also carries a big ass sword. So she is going to try and she's going to try and like hit this thing, but she's not going to use like athletics or defense. She actually has a skill as a reformed thug called intimidation, and she's just gonna try and hit this thing hard enough right off the butt, to get it to slug away. I
Okay.
smack its ass so hard that it runs
And
away.
how does this massive ass slap expose you to injury or attack?
I mean, getting close enough to it to interact with it in melee is, I would assume, a big thing, because I don't know what that mucus is made of. It's very glittery. It looks like it could be fun or dangerous, so
All right.
maybe
Vesla.
it's got a hallucinogen in it. No idea.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Anyway. So I don't want to get too close to this thing, because fuck that. So my thought is to take, just like rip a piece of cloth or just have a piece of cloth. Pour some of the oil that not all of it, but some of the oil that I've gotten from the car, and then light it on fire, pull a belt, like a little, what are they freaking called?
I feel like we had this
Slingshot?
exact
A slingshot?
conversation last time.
Slingshot, yeah. Wow. Okay, yeah, slingshot, and then shoot it at this thing. And I'd like to use myth to know a little bit more about this animal, to see where the best place to hit it would be based off the myths I know.
Interesting. And myth is a skill or a ritual?
It is a skill that I have.
Okay, skill. Wonderful. And how does this expose you to danger? Is it
I'm pouring
fire?
oil, and it might get on myself, and I'm also lighting it on fire.
Okay?
So
I'll say Talia's weak point, that 6 represents that Talia is getting closer to the monstrosity. Vesla's weak point, that 4 represents the oil, the fire that you're messing with. Teddy, your turn.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Could I, as part of this combat, instead of attacking, sabotage? Or do I have to take myself out of combat to sabotage?
I will allow you now. Interestingly enough, you've already rolled for your weak point. There is a way for you to take yourself out of combat, but it means that you have to give your weak point light die to another player who will suffer in your stead. So
Okay.
you can do that. This is sort of a significant moment of maybe you expose yourself and then you step back.
Well,
if you
it's
want
more
to-
like I'm. That's only if like I can't sabotage in combat. Like, I'm asking if I can sabotage like Vesla or Talia.
Are you
during
asking
combat.
to engage in PvP versus fighting the slug?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I see. I wasn't sure if.
But and then I
sabotage,
said,
like-
but if that isn't possible, like, do I have to take myself out of combat to do that?
I understand. See, I thought sabotage might be a skill or a ritual or something. You mean sabotage in a different way.
Yes.
You are absolutely allowed to make one of the roles that you're describing in combat.
Okay. Then I could I then say that my weak point is that I'm more focused on Vesla as a person instead of the creature itself?
Absolutely. Teddy, your weak point is 1, and you are exposing yourself to danger by focusing more on another player than the monstrosity in front of you. Archimedes.
You're muted. Christian. Oh, there you are.
I'm trying to get to it. I think with Vesla's idea, I think I want to like double up on that and take out a torch of my own and light it and use that as a weapon against the slug. And I think a negative or something bad that could happen is that it either doesn't light or it's a little too good and lights a little too fast and burns me or does some other thing.
Right. Now you've each described how you are partaking in this combat. I am going to gather dark dice for each treasure hunter that is involved in this attack. So we have 4 of you who are involved in the attack, and we're going to roll all those dark dice together. In order to defeat a monster in Trophy or a group of monsters, you are rolling against something called the monster's endurance. Endurance is a number between 2 and 12. I am allowed to reduce the endurance of this monster if I find that you're using relevant skills, or you're taking advantage of your equipment, environment, or the monster's weakness in some way. You have described how you're taking advantage of multiple skills and equipment that you're using, so I'm factoring that into the slug's endurance. So, we're going to roll 4 dark dice. As I said, I can roll those, or if someone wants to step in and roll those, that is fine as well.
Should we each roll our own?
Yeah! I like that. Will everyone roll 1 dark die for me?
I got a 1.
I got a 6.
I got a 5.
I also got a 5.
Okay. So the combination of the highest dark die are 5 and 6, which means that you have basically the course of your combat, you've gotten an 11, which I will tell you is going to defeat this slug in the manner that you and you as a party get to describe. However, some of you have exposed yourself to danger, which means that for each number that matches your weak point, you take ruin. So, Talia is going to take ruin, and potentially Teddy is going to take ruin. But Teddy, I want you first to describe the action that you're taking that you would describe as sabotage before you take a point of ruin.
How much ruin do I take? Do I take 1 or 2?
Just 1.
Just 1, okay.
So, I would say that Teddy positions herself right next to Vesla, and looks like they're going to fire their pistol, but will step back and fire it so that it's right next to Vesla's ear.
Mm-hmm.
So the sound just ricochets in their head and kind of sends them off kilter.
Right. Will you roll a single light dice?
The 6.
Oh, Teddy. So, you are acting in the Force interest. If you roll less than your current ruin, your betrayal goes unnoticed, and you reduce your ruin by 1. If you rolled higher than or equal to your ruin, which you've done, you can still reduce your ruin by 1, but someone will notice your attempted betrayal. So, reduce your ruin from 5 to 4, and someone will notice your betrayal as this combat occurs. That being said, Talia is the second person who is also going to gain some ruin. So, Talia, part of your condition, after we've described how this combat plays out, your condition might be related to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Now, you guys have succeeded, which means, as you've described, you set up your actions. I will let you guys play out what you think would happen as you take out the slug.
Oh man, should we start from the back and go forward?
Yeah, let's do that.
I think it's Vesla and
Archimedes.
Is it Archimedes all the way in the back?
Yeah.
Archimedes, what are you doing?
Archimedes finishes lighting the torch and sees like a hefty pool of what the slug is made of, and like tosses it, and fuck it, it's a little more flammable than he even thought it was gonna be, and it just like lights up and then crawls up the slug's body and backside and starts to just wreath it in flame.
You toss this baton of fire, and it lands in front of the snail, and on it's almost like front, like padding where its foot is, and the flames start climbing up it as the oil is mixing with that mucus liquid that coats it. And as it begins to like sort of escalate up its like abdomen and towards its back, you can hear it as it just screeches.
Vesla, I think, was...
Yeah, so Vesla pulls the belt taunt and looks and notices the two targets that popped out of this phallic-shaped slug, and immediately thinks the eye stalk is things that they've heard before, and something that Vesla should go for. So pulling back, they aim, and as they let go, they hear just this ringing in their ear. It still does go to hit, however, the ringing in their ear immediately makes them grab their head and just like snarl and look back towards Teddy. And they're going for a stick. And that's the end of what I think I do.
What did you say you were throwing at the
It's
oh,
like
you
a
had the slingshot,
ball,
right?
Yeah, like a ball
Yeah,
of fabric that's on fire.
Yes. You have pulled back and loosed it like David, and it and you remember in some of the descriptions of this particular creature, you've seen it in almost like these illuminated manuscripts of like olden knights fighting giant slugs like this in encounters. And the descriptions say that yes, the light in front is the one that attracts, but it's the eyes that are the ones that perceive. Using this knowledge, you shoot these little fireballs, and it lands on top of its head, and the eyes retract, and it almost like shrinks back into its body, recoiling from the flame that you have lit on top of its head, and now it is spreading across its dome.
Teddy? You were firing at it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
I was very zoned out. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Teddy has her pistol and just decides to position themselves optimally, and then we'll fire, and we'll just watch as the bullet kind of pierces through, if it's like even just skimming or just piercing on the edge of it, because Teddy wasn't so much focused on aim as they were focused on the distraction that they were causing.
Could you roll me just a d6?
Just a d6?
Yeah.
No, like, it doesn't matter if it's like light or dark.
No, it's just for me to decide.
Okay, that's a 1.
You are going to aim at the slug, and even though you're aiming, again, you're trying more so to irritate and discombobulate Vesla. And so you're more aiming, your eye line is focused on him versus the slug, and your pistol shoots a little higher than it should have, and it actually pierces the bulb that was lit up before. As the red light sort of like is almost like fading in and out, and more ichor seems to be coming out.
And I was attempting to intimidate this slug by hitting it real hard with my sword.
Yes. It is also on fire.
Yeah.
So,
But it's the sword that really clinches it, right?
Yes. Because of the fact that it is, in all essence, blinded at this point, it actually backs into you a little bit, and your sword actually manages to, like, it's almost like cutting through Jello. That's
actually very pleasant. I do it like two more times because I like the feel.
Yeah, yeah. And it just as
Get out of here, kitty.
as it like retracts and like is like undulating away. However, the screeching of this specimen has alerted more. And around the woods at different points, primarily behind you, are a red light, another, one more, one a little lower, as they're all aware of your presence now. Cage sees what's going on, a bit thrown off by its appearance at all, and almost studying it more than trying to like actively fight it in that split-second reaction from everybody. Sees all of the other lights and says, "It's time to keep moving forward. Abandon the mission. Let's go. We need to keep moving forward towards this. Our core. Let's go. Move it. And tries to hurry everybody along, get everybody back on the horses. The dogs are already kind of in a fray, not really sure what to do with the slug. But as Cage gives the command, they all kind of rally around his horse. And he just begins like to push forward. The other pack members are struggling to get Ollie moving forward a little bit more, even though Ollie is scared, and it just takes a little bit of spurring from Howie on top, kind of resting on top of his neck, for Ollie to begin stampeding, essentially.
Oh god.
Right. Alex wants to say something?
Yes. Now, as this tumultuous, frantic rush deeper into the forest occurs, Talia,
Mm-hmm.
you were right up on that slug. You do gain a token.
Oh!
So, you still get your token. So, as the slug moves away...
So I have 2 tokens now. Or was that my 1 token from trying the hunt?
This is your hunt token that you're
Great.
gathering. So, as the slug moves away after that sick... that you were... of the noise of your sword moving in and out of it, you do look down for a moment. You are just covered at this point in a nasty smelling glittery goo from being almost in an embrace. But you do see that there's this little bit of like gold that's still mixed up in some of the goo. It's been swirled around in together that you can sort of lift and look up if you want. It's impossible to separate the two substances, but it is still your token. Now,
I ask Cage for a piece of fabric and I wipe it off. Wipe the whole thing off and then I hand it back to him look at this.
Now, you wipe your hand off and some of the blood comes with it, right? You wipe your hand a little bit more and your skin doesn't feel right. You're, wiping a little bit more of this goop off and you manage to get some of it sloughs off and it falls and you're able to get some of it out of your hair and get some of it off your sword. But the texture of your skin, if you are all right with this condition, has become deeply, deeply unpleasant. I think mostly on your arms, maybe. Your hands are probably still fine, but mostly on your arms. Occasionally you might find yourself sweating just a thick, unpleasant, goopy substance, and your skin is a little bit more malleable, maybe just a little bit glittery as you look at it.
I'm a vampire.
You're a vampire that slug do?
Say it out loud.
Teddy, you also, even though you just completed a reduction roll and were noticed, you still gained another ruin from taking part in this combat, which means that you also take another condition as you fire off towards this slug. Now, again, if this condition is all right with you and you're interested in it, I think it is that explosive moment that sticks with you the most, of that red light sort of bursting apart. You already have, the tickle in the back of your throat, that sensation that you could begin to cough if you just, run a little bit too hard, if you were panting any more. As that bulb bursts ahead of you, you feel an unpleasant in your mouth. Your tongue begins to glow with a red light. And you find yourself, as you continue running through the forest, just continually chewing on it. You're not gonna bite off your own tongue or anything, but it's almost like an unpleasant stim that you just can't stop, where you chew on your tongue, and the more you chew on it, the brighter the light gets. Now, if that is unpleasant, of course, we can change your condition up. Are you all right with that?
I'm fine with
Okay.
I feel like Teddy would find that aesthetically pleasing. Just
You
to
do
be
have
honest.
kind of like oh gosh, I forget what the trend is where people put
You
lights
look
in
like
their mouth.
Yeah, when you're at a rave. Yeah.
You look like a light bright.
Cool.
It's red because you should stop talking.
Wow.
Wow.
I love you so much.
And I believe after everybody gets on their horses and moves out, we're gonna move to break.
Hmm.
We're gonna take a 10-minute break, yeah. And we'll be back with more of the unicorn hunt. So stay tuned for more. See you in a
y'all
bit.
again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Unicorn Hunt. We just had a very tense situation with a gigantic slug in the forest that the party was able to ward off with fire and intimidation. However, we neglected our beloved Shane in this moment. Shane, you wanted to do something while the combat was going on, but not combat.
Yes, correct. I want to decidedly avoid the combat entirely. I want to protect my beautiful self from this. But I would like to see if I can use deception to make sure that no one notices that I am not fighting.
Ooh.
I want to do that.
You may roll a risk roll. So it would be a light die for using one of your skills, and then any dark die?
I don't know. I was hopeful that this would be a reduction roll. Because I'm not aiding the party at all. But
so you're saying the way you're trying to sabotage the party is by not assisting them in this moment.
Yeah. I want the fight to break out, and I want to back away.
Alex, sounds good? Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. Yeah, go for it. It'll be a reduction roll.
Okay.
Roll one light die.
Okay. I think that's a 6. Yeah.
Woohoo! So, you reduce your ruin, but someone notices, my dear Shame, that you are not partaking in this combat.
May I offer that Archimedes notices?
Sure. I'll take that.
Is Archimedes all the way in the back? No, Vesla's all the way in the back.
Archimedes, you are in the midst of the combat. As there's flames and the slug screeching and the icky sort of like gelatinous sounds that are coming from the body. But through all the chaos and the gun ringing out of all the chaos, your ears prick up and you hear as twigs are being broken further back, and you catch Shane not engaging with this particular threat to the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane, you are simply like stepping back and like in a hiding position.
Yeah, like kind of back towards the elephant and the other horses and things like that.
Yes. So you step back. You're hiding kind of towards the other pack members and the elephant and Howie. And you feel the low kind of panicked grumbling of Ollie as he goes as he trumpets, and once Howie sets the motion to move forward, Ollie bolts, and you would be the first one to your horse when Cage orders to move out.
Yep. All right.
What about the for Teddy getting caught?
Oh, I
Yes.
have a small idea, but you go ahead and start.
I think is everybody good to get on horseback and speed out?
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's skedaddle.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
In the chaos of the surprise of this slug and seemingly its other compatriots that are guarding the forest, you all are kind of running forward through the brush at a breakneck speed. And because of the rush and Ollie trampling through all the all of the brush. There's a bit of damage done to the carriage in the back. Nothing that would stop it from being functional, like it hasn't lost a wheel or anything, but it's definitely looking a little bit beat up. Some of the bars have been broken off that were meant to contain the unicorn. And eventually you all find a little bit of a clearing, a decent ways into the forest. And Cage dismounts, looks to everybody. Jesus. All right. Everybody here? Let me do a head count. Vesla, Teddy, Shane, Archimedes, Talia, Snipes, Howie, Wesson, Smith. I think that's everybody. All right.
Snipes?
Snipes. Thank you. Snipes growls. And Cage nods and is just checking like a very old looking map, something that looks like made from like very old parchment on the border of like getting ripped apart, looking for any sort of markers of where they are, and you all have just a quick moment to yourselves as Cage gets his bearings.
Yeah. Nice job, everybody. That was good shit. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. That was good. Quick reactions.
I expected the child to know how to use a gun if she had one. And she's still, like, holding her ear.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You just slink around so much like a little snake. I didn't really notice you were there.
If you want to play games, walk into the forest and I'll count to 3,000. Let's see if you're there.
What?
It was a decent shot, though.
Thank you.
Were you... what happened?
I just didn't know that Vesla was standing next to me when I fired my gun. They're pretty loud.
I was
not know
standing
they were
there
standing next to you?
first. And then they're going to pull their hand away. There's just a small trickle of blood as their eardrum's been ruptured.
Oh, shit. Hey, watch where you are when you're shooting, you know? That's not a toy. And she's gonna step forward and take like a piece of fabric out, and we'll like try and wipe the blood away off of Vesla's ear.
Vesla will allow it. Just like
Yeah.
like a cat who is stuck in the corner, and it's just like, fine, go.
That's me in the corner.
I think
That's me in the spotlight.
I think Archimedes is gonna walk up next to Shane, just like quietly, and go, I didn't expect someone to be so scared so early.
Yeah, well, I can't damage this sweater. It's new.
Do you have our backs if things get worse?
I have my back.
Do you have ours?
I can't survive in this forest alone. So, sure.
Very convincing.
I don't need you to like me.
It's not about liking. It's about being there.
I'm here.
It's okay to be afraid.
Oh, for God's sake. Not afraid. Just don't like slugs.
They are fear of yours.
I don't like being sticky. It's a thing.
Sure.
As you say that, Talia's in the corner and she's like peeling her shirt off, and you just see that there are like ropes of glittery mucus pulling as she pulls her shirt away from her back. And she like uses it, she balls it up and starts wiping it off. Very, very thoroughly muscled back. She's ripped. Have I mentioned that?
No, please keep talking about it.
And just like starts wiping this, and it is very sticky.
Traps like you've never seen.
God damn.
See what I mean? Gross.
Very gross. Just keep an eye out for us if you're going to be in the back. Call out.
All right. I don't hate you or anything.
No, just self-preservation is important. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. I respect that.
Yeah. And he just like nods his head. And like as he's walking away, dramatic effect. As he's walking away and his hair moves and you see that his eye looks like offside before it goes back and he walks off.
I stay close behind.
That's all I've got.
Anyone else?
Oh.
All right. Cage kind of folds up the map, just stuffs it in his back pocket. All right, everybody, we're gonna continue moving northeast, and we should be reaching some sort of a tributary, a waterway soon, so we'll have to ford it. So just be aware that we're gonna get a little wet. All right.
Good, I can wash my shirt.
Cage looks to Talia, is like, "What the fuck happened? Were you?"
The snail bumped into me. It got shit all over me. I'm covered in glitter. My skin feels weird. Look, she holds her shirt out.
No, don't fucking do that. Do not fucking do that.
All right, but the thing with the gold shit, this was all over the ground. It looked like, it could have been like spit, I don't know, blood, maybe some sort of fluid.
You said gold?
Yeah, and she like holds out the piece of fabric that has there's like a swirl of gold, I think was the description, inside of the goop. The snail went on top of it, so you know there's fucking goop in it, but
Vesla, come here.
They clapping no. If they'll walk up and just kind of holding the piece of cloth against their ear.
What? Oh my god. All right. You know anything about gold in these parts? I've never heard anything about any rushes or anything like that.
Can I roll?
You should roll a myth. Well, I guess you just have the myth skill, so you would. I'll just tell you.
Okay.
Shane, actually, you would also know this because this relates to blood. Legend says that the unicorn bleeds gold.
The unicorn seemingly bleeds gold. That might be a trail to exactly what we're looking for. Good job,
shit,
Muscles.
really?
Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
I said good job, Muscles.
Thanks. It was next to the slug.
As Vesla reveals that, there's a sort of like glimmer in his eyes as he's like reignited with that sort of fervor to search for the unicorn again.
Why is it bleeding though?
I don't fucking know, but it's for our benefit, huh? Good job, sport. And we'll give Talia a pat on the back.
Ooh, a sticky pat on the back.
And then we'll be like, oh, fuck, shit. Get yourself... When we get to this river, we wash up.
I'm planning I will be jumping in. Trust me.
Jesus. All right.
I'll be the first one.
All right, let's keep moving. They called it... The map says it's called the artery, so... Bloodwood.
Like a heart?
Name's weird
like
shit.
like a body?
I mean, it's the
Well, it is
Bloodwood.
the Bloodwood.
Anyway, let's keep moving. All right, let's keep moving. You see, Howie is like still trying to like calm Ollie before the order goes back up, and he remounts. All the boys get in the back.
Boys are back.
And y'all keep moving forward.
Into the woods.
We're gonna switch back to Alex.
Oh, there's Alex.
Into the woods. You push forward. Brambles growing thicker, more of those strange, dark red vines choking their way, winding up the trees as you pass by. The horses underneath you are sweaty and tired. They're panting. The hounds ahead, ever more ferocious, barely being held back by barked commands. And the elephant, again, the thumping of its feet behind you, almost like a heartbeat, saying, "You're not going fast enough. You're not going fast enough." Pushing forward, you smell it first. A scent thick and rich. The leaves of the trees, as you step closer, on and on, you're not going fast enough. You're not going fast enough. The leaves are dripping with some kind of moisture. It's warm, warmer here, even though you can't really see the sun through the foliage. Only occasional beams of light. That smell thickens, solidifies, fills your nostrils. Salty. Then you hear it. Not a classic rush of water flowing over pebbles or stones. A little bit slower, burbling. And then you see it through the trees. The leaves dripping. A similar color, like the trees are sweating. A putrid and thick flow of dark brown and red. What could be a wide river full of sewage, but looks closer to Icar.
Shit. That smells disgusting. Is that... I mean, it's not really like blood, right?
I have no fucking clue, kid.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
I'm gonna get off my horse
Yeah.
and approach the riverbank.
Mm-hmm.
Could I just like pinky just the tip into this water?
Talia,
Yep.
would you make a ruin roll for me?
A ruin roll?
Oh.
Okay. What's is that a dark die?
A ruin roll is a single dark die. Yes.
Single dark die. Okay, dope. 1.
All right.
So if that's below my current ruin, I don't take ruin, right?
You do not.
Okay, my current ruin is 3.
All right. You do not take ruin as you dip your finger in.
Hold it up. Give it a sniff.
That scent is same, thick, dark, salty.
I kind of look back and then just
No.
the tip. I just want to
No.
touch it to my tongue with the intention of spitting it out after I taste it.
All right.
Vesla is just from their horse, just yelling at you. They're not trying to stop you. They're just like, no.
I have a question for you, Talia.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tasted blood before?
Oh, absolutely. Her own and others.
Give me a little more on that. Whose blood have you tasted?
Talia, as I said, well before she met Cage, had red in her ledger. She grew up pretty much exclusively in harsher urban conditions where there were a lot of people who were struggling at the same time and would do pretty much anything to get help, who were desperate people. And she was one of them. And so she did a lot to get what she needed to get by, including selling what she was good at, which is being a strong motherfucker who, the kind of dog that bites and won't let go. And so I think she probably has had moments where she literally like bit people in a fight when it got really dirty, when someone like pulled a knife or something else, and it was like past the point of honorable fighting. I mean, the concept is pretty much completely foreign to her. But as soon as somebody gave way, she would use whatever she had to make it work, including her teeth, elbows, knees, whatever. And I think that she's tasted the blood of quite a few other people.
The blood. What looks like it is blood, as you touch it to your tongue. It's not quite the same as the memory that the act of putting it in your mouth instantly evokes. There is an underlying taste of something more sulfurous, I would say, a little bit smokier, and it's also very dilute, even though it is that darker red color. It's runnier than you know actual blood to be. So there is a taste of that salt, something sort of rusty, but it's not just actual thick blood that's flowing down a river.
She spits it out. It's not the real thing. Do I get the feeling that if I try and wash myself with this, I'm going to be even worse off than I was before?
It might help. You might be able to clean your shirt. You're not really sure. You only, again, dipped your finger in. Your finger isn't red or anything. It didn't stain it.
I'll dip my shirt in and then try and use that to kind of like get some of the stickiness off, and then wring that out, and probably honestly put it over the back of the horse to dry off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you already made your ruin roll, so this doesn't affect you in particular. Anyone else doing anything?
I would like a vial of it. Can I just scoop up a little vial of it?
Ooh.
Are you letting it touch your skin at all?
I am going to attempt not to do that. I think I have experience with that.
Okay. Do you want to give me a risk roll?
I do.
And you'll
And
add a light
again-
die because you have the blood skill.
Mhm.
Yes.
Again, a good place for devil's bargains here. I know, Shane, you're feeling a little risky. So
I have one. You, no, never mind.
I feel
Okay.
like attracting unwanted attention would be a great devil's bargain here. Maybe there is something in the water that would be very interested in a couple of land creatures wading through it. And it's already had one sort of disturbance. I don't know what the supernatural nature of this creature could be, but maybe the entrance of something such as glass, which tends to be refined glass, which tends to be pretty outside the typical objects found in a forest. Maybe that would be something that would attract attention.
Mm.
Shane, you're going into what you pop out from your sort of jacket a vial already prepared. You uncork it, and you've done things similar to this before. You have not had so much readily available supply, let's say. So
Right, yes.
you attempt to just very delicately with your oh, I forgot to ask. Are you taking the devil's bargain?
I will take it. I will
Okay.
take it.
Cool. Did you roll? I think I just jumped into it.
I didn't, but I will.
Okay, yeah,
right
go
now.
ahead and roll.
A 1 and a 2.
You should roll 2 light die if you
Yeah, 2
took
light
devil's
dice.
bargain.
Because you took a devil's bargain.
Okay, well then a 1, a 2, and
I think you should also add a dark die here, considering the danger of what you're attempting.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've got a dark die
a
in there.
second die, dark die. Okay, one on a
Just
light
one.
die.
Just one
Yeah.
dark die. They had already put that in there.
Yep, and then the second light die is a 5.
Okay. Let me double check something before I go too far in. Okay, you said 5?
Yeah.
You take the vial in your hands. It's about a finger long.
Yeah.
And you are dipping it in to just have the natural flow of this runway, just fill it up without needing to exercise any more energy than you need to. And you pull it out and you cork it. And then the blood seems to dilute. It turns from that sort of reddish brown back into water. As you are doing this, you very suddenly feel a set of eyes on you. You can't really tell from where. You hear some, just on being so hyper alert of the situation and being, you can tell that these eyes are connected to you because you just did this. You can hear a and you look in the direction of whatever creature, person, thing just exhaled, and you just see a rustling of rough brush.
I hand up to everyone and walk over to the brush.
You go further and are looking a little bit. And does anyone follow?
I'd say that I was nearby, so probably.
Okay. Talia and Shane step forward into the brush, and you're looking around. And Shane, you're just looking through all the vegetation, trying to look for any sign of life that seems out of place, and you don't find anything. Can I still have you make a hunt roll?
Yeah. Okay.
And Talia, if you would like to make a hunt roll as well.
Hunt. I already took one, so I'm gonna wait until everybody gets a turn.
Sure.
That is a light die, right? Correct?
For a hunt roll?
Yes, for hunt roll, it's a single light die.
Okay, thank you. That is a 5.
Okay. You are looking around and trying to find whatever the hell just happened. And your eyes catch on to a tree with markings in it. In the same way that one might carve a message into a tree, this has the appearance of something Paleolithic. There is an image of a creature that at first seems difficult to discern because it's such a rough, slashed motion of making lines in this tree. You see it's an almost semicircular sort of torso with 4 lines just slashed at the bottom. Another line slashed upward in a sort of careless direction, and then 2 almost like bored holes. You can tell by the way that the wood has been damaged that it's someone had a knife or some sort of other blade and was just rolling it with their fingers to make holes. As you're looking at this, you get the sense that this is some sort of depiction of a something.
Is that a tail?
And I look, I see Talia's there. No one else has followed us, and I just... It's probably important.
You think so?
I don't know. Marks
We
in
can find some
trees.
paper. I have some crayons. We can do a rubbing.
Yeah. Yeah, we should do that.
You make a rubbing?
Yeah. I don't
Talia,
officially have crayons in my backpack, but I'm just saying it because, you know.
Yeah.
as you place the paper and take your kind of Conte crayon and just are sort of just scribbling on top, you, Talia, also feel these eyes on you as you hear in another direction, almost not even in one particular era, almost more like it's in your mind. No, stop that. No,
Jesus.
no.
What? Shane?
I didn't say anything.
I heard you saying no. What?
I definitely did not say that.
Was it a ghost?
Probably. The woods are fucked. You've been here.
I mean, a little, but yeah.
Well,
I keep going.
I look out.
You're looking out
Yeah.
and nothing there. It's just woods and, same sort of critters. You see a line of ants that are just kind of crawling down a nearby tree, but they all have the cordyceps fungus on them. And they, instead of moving in a straight line, they're sort of going in errant directions and all have those growths coming from their heads and bodies.
As I finish that rubbing, as long as nothing happens, I turn around and I hand it to Shane. Why don't you keep this?
Thanks. I mean, we should keep going. Maybe something like this will come up again.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a trail marker or something. Who knows?
Could be a trail marker.
Although,
Could
I don't really feel like I know anything about, like, people being in here. Like, something that could make that, you know?
I mean, not lately, but this doesn't feel lately. This is old.
Oh. I just thought, like, a kid did it. You know?
That is distinctly possible.
You two return back?
Yeah.
Do you show Cage?
Can
Oh, go ahead, Teddy.
I was just gonna ask if I could do something while they were off.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to make another reduction roll.
What are you gonna fucking do?
I would like to get off my horse and look like I'm gonna inspect the river. And while I pass, Talia's horse takes some things out of their saddlebags,
I thought you were about to
And-
fuck with my horse, and I was gonna straight up
Chuck.
murder you.
chuck them in the river as I'm kind of kneeling down and inspecting, kind of pretending I'm inspecting kind of like the side brush.
Ooh, in my
Um,
bag? Let's see what I have in my bag.
What you got in there?
Probably, like-
I know I took note of this somewhere. Where the hell is my bag? Well, dang. I guess I didn't write it down. Shit. Anyway, I believe what I have is... Well, I think I'll just need to go look. I know that Alex put the, backpack stuff in the chat somewhere, but there are so many links, I don't know where they are.
Alex will get it for you. If you want to come back to this, we can do the Shane and Talia scene first.
Well, I think
Or I guess
they also have to
Shane-
make a roll, right?
Um,
Right? You have to make a reduction roll?
Yes.
yeah. So we'll just jump to the Shane scene
Cool.
first, and then you take care of the inventory, and we'll get that reduction roll in a second.
Mhm.
Shane, you said you were bringing this to Cage.
Yeah.
You walk up to him. He's just sort of looking down at the river, looking at the other side, trying to like gauge how he wants to cross when you catch his eye. Shane.
This mean anything to you?
Takes the page. You're not changing careers, are you?
No, it's a side hobby. It was on a tree. And there was sounds. Someone in distress, crying. No one really there.
You heard someone.
I did. Talia did too.
Cage kind of looks around a little bit more on edge.
Yeah. Figured you should know.
Huh. All right. Well, I guess keep an ear out if you hear him again, and hopefully we'll get the jump on him.
So it doesn't mean anything to you.
I haven't done so much research, but I know we're not the first to go in here, and with how much I publicized this, I bet some poor bastard just went in and tried to catch it himself.
Sure. All right.
Don't put too much stock in it, and chances are we'll just get the jump on him, huh?
I'm not worried.
All right.
Officially in my backpack, I have
Mm-hmm.
12 iron spikes, a mallet, and a 2-person tent.
Cool.
So camping supplies.
So camping supplies. Teddy, roll me a risk. Or
Reduction is
reduction
its own roll, isn't it?
This is a reduction roll.
Reduction?
That's right.
Can I add, like, can I do anything to help my reduction roll, or is it just, like, basic? Okay. Does it work? Damn it!
Oh no. What did you get?
I got another 6. I hate this. I'm going back to rolling for...
You know
So you
what?
will reduce your ruin, but someone notices.
You're back down to 4 at least.
You're down to
Yeah.
4.
Bad news is I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
You are next to the Appaloosa,
Mm-hmm.
and Talia just left some of her bags attached to the saddle. And while everybody's kind of distracted by the sounds from the woods and Cage looking out across the artery, Archimedes, you pick this up.
I just see them do it, like.
Yeah. You like, you just catch them in the act as they are just rummaging through Talia's stuff. You know that horse is very good, and that's not Teddy's horse.
What the hell are you doing? As he comes
Hi,
up.
Archimedes.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for something.
What are you looking for?
Nothing important.
Then stop looking for it. It's
Okay.
not time to be going through knickknacks and paddywhacks and giving dog bones, and it's none of that time.
So serious.
Have you seen where we are?
Yeah, it's been a little boring so far. I'm really just waiting for it to get a little fun, you know.
We can't afford for it to get fun.
You don't think we can afford for it to have fun?
We can't afford
Listen.
mistakes. That's 2 you've made.
It's better than breaking toes, which I specifically promised Cage I wouldn't do, so.
Just get out of people's packs. Stick with your own. Or at least ask.
Whatever you say, Archimedes.
Hey, Teddy! Hey!
Yeah?
Snipes calls you over. We got a problem with the dog carriage.
Coming! And we'll walk past Archimedes quite closely, just so that they can whisper softly. Be careful. It's a big forest.
You think he doesn't say anything?
Archimedes, you can overhear. This is like maybe 20 feet away. It's very close to you. You can hear what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Snipes calls Teddy over. You're Timmy. No. Teddy.
You get that.
So unfortunately it looks like the carriage we were carrying the dogs in seems to be all busted. Normally we've encountered this before. I don't know if you've been with Cage before, but we put the dogs in the cart because sometimes the water's too thick, or not thick, too strong for the dogs to swim through, so we'll put them in there just to make sure that they can ford across. I'm not sure this one's gonna hold up after the rush the elephant gave us. Can you keep an eye on the dogs while they're out? Just make sure they're not up to anything.
Yeah, of course.
Great. All right, cool. There's sort of like you catch a sly smirk. Yeah, cool. Thanks for doing that, Teddy. And he'll walk off. We'll unlatch the back of the carriage, and the dogs pop out.
Is he implying that he wants Teddy to use these dogs to fuck with Archimedes? Is that what's being implied here? Man, fuck Snipes. I hate that bitch.
What a bitch. He gets
What a
forgotten once and now he's mad. Can't
What a bitch.
The dogs get loosed and they jump on you, Teddy, and they are giving you so much love. And as they are, you feel Greeny bury himself further into your hair. And he's actually been pretty quiet throughout this whole trip. Usually he's a little bit more of a chatterbox, but since actually starting the day, he's been more reclusive. After the dogs are out, that same bloodhound from earlier, from yesterday, Archimedes, goes and like kind of like slowly approaches in like a predatory stance. What do you do?
I think seeing the, I think like, is it like getting ready to like pounce on me, or is it just like barking?
He's barking, he's snarling. The flaps of his like maw are like sort of like flapping as each bark echoes out. What do you do?
I think he just calls out. He's like, "Someone get this somebody get this fucking dog away from me." And he's like turning to the side so he gets less of, because he recognizes a pouncing stance when he fucking sees one. He makes himself smaller by turning to the side, so he's not like, he's like his shoulders facing the dog.
Talia said, if you have an issue with the dogs, call me.
Is Talia
So
around?
she
Back?
could. Yeah, I think they returned.
Talia
if you
came
don't
back
mind.
with Shane.
Talia.
So. Yeah. Oh fuck. Hey, Cujo, go away.
Cujo.
No. No, you know better than that. And we'll try and get this dog to fuck off.
Thanks for the raid.
Thanks for the raid.
Cujo is like continuing to prowl forward, but as soon as Talia comes in and gives like an order, kind of like retracts a little bit and still gives a little.
No. Go. You're usually better behaved than this. No, get back here.
And we'll jump back. The other dogs are like have noticed and ears pricked up. Most of the other dogs are foxhounds, but they've just been on top of Teddy and just sort of like on guard.
Yeah. I'll just do I'm gonna do the same thing and just tell him to back up, kind of back him away.
Cool.
God, man, I don't know what it is. You really they just don't like you.
Animals haven't liked me for a very long time.
Shitty to be in a forest then.
Yes, very shitty. But
You have a really ominous laugh. Has anyone ever told you that?
no, typically because I laugh and then they leave.
Makes sense.
This isn't my real laugh. It's something I developed.
What's your real laugh sound like?
Maybe you'll hear it one day.
I will make it my life's work to hear that laugh, Archimedes.
I look forward to the attempts. And
Well,
he almost goes to like tap you on the shoulder, but then like he sees the glitter. He's like,
fair enough. That's fine. I got most of it off, but now I've got like forest water on me, so it's not that much better, but it is a little bit better. But we better get back on the hunt.
wait, did you say you had the unicorn's blood?
Huh? Oh, it's not real blood. It's not real blood. It's it just seems like blood. But Cage is on that trail pretty doggedly.
When Cage finds a clue about anything. He goes rabid.
And they'll kind of like deflate at their failed joke, and we'll just be like, yeah, all right.
That'll look that's fine.
Yeah,
And
all
I
right,
think
I'm gonna go.
he just turns to look at the river and just looking at the color of it. And it just reminds him of a lot of other running reds in his life. And the smile he had while Talia was talking to him kind of just diminishes. And like he clenches his fist and like taps it against like his coat.
Talia, after washing up from the artery, when Shane tried to bottle the blood, it turned to water.
Mm-hmm.
When you come out, you're still soaked red.
Interesting.
It did not turn into water for you.
Weird.
Hmm.
Yeah. Shane would definitely pick up on that. Because my shirt is rust red over the back of the Appaloosa. As I let it dry. Staining my pants, probably.
Cage saunters over towards Vesla. And has the map in hand, but sort of like just leans up against his horse. We've already hit a really rough patch this early on. And I didn't expect to have the expedition get this tight so soon. But I need you on your fucking A game.
Control your fucking team.
I hired you. I'm giving you extra pay to control the team.
You say control, and the only control I think that one, and looks over at Teddy, needs is just to be gone. They're hurting the team.
They're a loose cannon, I'll give you that. But they're fucking good at what they do. You've read
So it was purposeful.
You've seen their bounty sheets, yeah?
Of course I have. Doesn't mean much when they can't fucking contribute and try to ruin everything else.
Hey, look. We're gonna be in these woods for like another day or two, okay? Gotta think big, Vesla. I know you're into details, but just stick around with these guys, keep them in line. You're gonna get all the information you're looking for. Just hold out.
Am I allowed to use more force than one scene to protect and to control the team? You have to work with me.
Case looks over to the rest of the party that's all kind of split up. Sure. Do what you gotta do.
It will not be out of malice. I just want you to know.
Just get them in fucking order, because that was a terrible show. For the amount of money I'm paying y'all.
I have one more thing. That's
yes, okay. Yes.
I've heard of a little thing called personal treasures.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try to use my token to do that thing, however that is done.
We'll switch over to Alex for this.
Vesla. Yes. You have a token that you can use to spend a... Sorry, 1 second. You have a token that you can spend in order to find a treasure that is personally valuable to your character. So I think I would like you to describe something that you're looking for, and then I'm also going to ask you maybe a question about, why that's more personally valuable to you that you can answer out of character. And then you can spend the token, your branch that you have, in a way that helps you find it.
So the big thing is I genuinely believe with the Cage mentioning getting the information I need. Cage has my information that I currently need. And knowing Cage, he'll probably have to write it down. What I'm looking for is information based off something in my past that is my life's work and means the world over anything else that they've been doing. So what I would like to do is utilize my token as a distraction. As the physical and just violence of it really won't achieve anything for my knowledge. However, maybe setting the bushel side afire and sticking the sharp side into something to cause a distraction. Very hard to put out, hard to pull out of whatever it's stuck into. To take a second to see if that information is written.
Wonderful. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I want to know, you said you're using a kind of distraction, right, to get information that you need from someone. Is this your usual forte? Is this your usual mode? Has there been a point in the past where you did more than just cause a distraction, where you actually took a physical stand to get something you needed?
Absolutely. Definitely more on the sleek and roguish side. If there's physical damage that needs to be done, it would be done timed accordingly and to plan. But many of distraction has happened caused by Vesla. So this is not something unfamiliar.
Fantastic. Wait for your moment. Light the branch. I think that you guys are on sort of the edge of this blood river here, right? You've taken a moment. You have the horses, the elephant, and the hounds. Those are the creatures that you might be able to cause a distraction with the fire. Oh, did my mic switch? Give me one moment to fix that. Actually, Andre, do you want to step in?
I can hop in. Hold on.
Thank you.
You take the branch that you got out of the car earlier, and
Can I mention a point that I want to make sure?
yes,
That
yes.
I want it to be hidden. I want it to be where the stick itself is destroyed or unnoticeable, as she's been seen with it before.
And to clarify, you're lighting it on fire and just like letting it,
Sticking it in somewhere where it's very difficult. However, I want there to be enough damage, probably caused by the combination of oil from the car and whatever else, to make it unnoticeable that that was the same item that
I
he
see.
had. Mm-hmm.
You find some rock formations that are nearby, and you kind of jam it as far as you can inside to get it like situated so that you can like light it from a distance and get on your way without having to like hold it up. You do you use a lighter or a match?
I think a match is a lot more nuanced with Vesla's personality.
You grab your matchbox and a small flame, and as you're reaching to place it towards the fire, you hear and it sets ablaze. And because it's a branch, it goes pretty quick, but it's long enough that it causes some notice from other members. Howie, who's been helping out Ollie, the elephant, calls out, "Hey boss, you think there's a fire over there?" And Cage looks over like, if you want to go check, go. I mean, it might be that person in the woods Shane had mentioned. So, go search. Go. I trust you. No, wait. Snipes, you do it. That's your fucking job, man. Snipes goes out. And then while Snipes is taking care of that, Cage calls everybody to attention. All right, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and forward. Usually we're dealing with water, but this is a little thicker, so we're gonna need you all to push through and make sure, especially that the horses don't lose their footing. If you need to put anything in the carriage, Snipes told me about the other carriage. We're just gonna dump that one behind for the dogs. They'll just be on the loose, and we're gonna just try and have them just swim across themselves. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
I am just wondering if I can, like, help other people cross the river as well, if I somehow manage to get across first, because I do have athletics as a skill and feel like I could apply that to help folks get across. Don't know.
There is the help roll which you can take. So yes, you are allowed to help other people on their risk rolls that they might need to make while they cross this river.
Okay. Well, Cage, you want me to get over there first and I can tie up my horse and then come back?
Sure, yeah, if you want to do like a little sort of, not a rappel line, but you know, something for everybody to grab onto, maybe 2 stakes on. You got the stakes, right?
Yes.
Of course you do.
Got him. Got my spikes.
Cool. You hammer 1 spike in. You go across the river.
Mm-hmm. Don't know if anybody else who's also particularly strong wants to come with me. Otherwise, I'll just do it myself.
I'll go.
Cool.
Archimedes.
Cage notices Archimedes stepping forward. He's like, you gonna help out?
Gonna try my best.
There you go, man. And
Across this fucking river.
Alex, did you want to say something?
First of all, does my mic sound alright?
You
Sounds quiet.
You are very quiet.
Yeah, you were quiet.
Alright. So I think I wanted to ask if Archimedes wanted to make a risk roll with Talia's help, or if Talia wanted to make a risk roll with Archimedes' help for this first bit of the crossing.
I think I'm in a good position to do either. I'm planning on using athletics fully. Whether I'm doing the main thing or whether I'm helping. What do you think, Christian?
I'm fine with that. That sounds good.
Okay. Then I will take the main role, and if you want to help me, that'd be dope.
Mm-hmm.
How are you planning on, what skill are you going to use for helping?
I think, let's see, I don't really have a skill for it, but I think if I have a good grip on the rope, and a really strong grip, I think I'll use my background and just a little bit of transformation on my hand to make sure that the grip is as strong as it can be.
Okay. Cool. So GMs, what should we do?
Alright, so Talia, you're making this roll. I would like you, since you're making a risk roll, to say what you hope will happen, and then you'll ask us what we think could possibly go wrong.
Yes. So I am very much hoping that with Archimedes' assistance, both of us can get our horses as well as this rope all the way across the river and get to the other side. And not sure if hammering it down would be a part of this roll, but if it is, then getting it securely attached to something. And that's what I'm hoping for. But I guess, what's the worst that could possibly happen? Anybody got ideas?
One of us slips and falls into the river itself.
One of the horses gets swept away, or
Yeah.
both.
Or both.
Objects get lost. Half your inventory, maybe, or all of it.
I think the worst thing that could happen is that you swallow this liquid.
Oh, get it in her mouth. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
pretty bad too. All right. So then you're using a skill, Talia. So that's 1 light die. You are going to roll a dark die as well. And Archimedes, you are helping, correct?
Yes.
So that means that you are going to roll a light die, and they can consider that in their success. But if your light die matches the dark dice, then your ruin will increase.
Gotcha.
So Archimedes, give us a roll of a light die. Talia, you'll have 1. Is anyone going to offer a devil's bargain here?
I had one.
Please.
So you can reach out and help someone like physically grab their hand. However, the slime from your hand it continues and gets onto more of your body and possibly the person that you're helping out.
Yeah,
Collateral
fuck yeah.
damage.
Okay, sure.
I'll take that. I think that
Okay.
would be for me, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
So
so
that
I take
means-
another light die.
I would also
Yeah.
like to wait. It's just 1 devil's bargain per.
You can take as many
No,
as you
as
want. I
many
think.
as
Okay.
you want.
Okay. Just double checking. I'm going to offer 1 to Christian, to Archimedes. Using your transformation, once you do it, you won't be able to undo it.
Sure.
Amazing.
So we're
Okay.
each rolling 2 light die.
No, it'll just add another one to Talia's pool, since the
Okay,
single
cool.
roll of the light die for Archimedes is what affects if he has the potential for ruin. So that means you have 3 light dice. 1, 2, 3, and 1 dark die, plus Archimedes' roll.
So
Cool.
I'll roll first, I guess.
Mhm.
5.
All right.
Got some physical die here because I haven't rolled physical die yet. Okay. I rolled a 3, a 4, and a 5 on the light die, and I rolled a 4 on my dark die.
Okay. So that means your highest roll is a 5, and the dark dice does not match Archimedes' roll, so no one gains any ruin. With a 5, you do succeed, but there's some kind of complication. So, as the GM, I'll say what the complication is, and then you get to describe how your characters succeed collectively. I think we've already said that, there's some kind of slipping, some kind of way that you get some of the goo on, and that Archimedes as well is going to also transform with the hand. So I think that the likely kind of complication that happens does actually affect the horses. Maybe the 2 of you spook the horses in some way, startle them, make it a little bit harder, get more blood over the 2 of more water over the 2 of you, but you do both manage to make it across the river.
Sure.
Cool.
How do you succeed?
Archimedes, do you want to start?
I think as Archimedes is trying to help and concentrate on his hand only transforming, I feel like maybe the how fast it is and how crunchy the bone snapping is.
Oof.
He actively goes and it startles the horse
Fuck.
and fucks the horse, starts to panic a little bit.
If I could hop in and just give a little bit of description as well.
Go ahead, bud.
Talia, you as Archimedes is helping you, and he gives that kind of rarf sound. His arm almost roids out for a second, and the bristles on his forearm get thicker.
Fuck, dude. What's wrong with your arm? Are you good?
I'm fine. Just give me a second.
All right.
And he'll as he's rustling and fiddling with his stuff, you do see that his eye also, one of his eyes, both of his eyes actually, look like they look like a wolf's eyes. As the hair's rustling and he's just trying to shake off the pain and noticing it's not going away.
Okay, let's just get across. And Talia, with Archimedes' help, as the two of them sort of like maybe got Archimedes, leaves him in the back, and Talia will like go to the front and grab the horse's reins, and will begin to walk backwards, leading them, making sure that she's got her eyes on Archimedes so no other shit happens, and if something does, she can try and help. And with Archimedes in the back, gripping onto the rope, sort of unwinding it as we trek forward and we come to the other side of the river. And if it's okay, then I would say that they find a spot to sort of nail in this this rope so that other folks can start to come across and use it as a stabilizer. Thanks for the raid.
Thanks for the
Thanks
raid.
for the
Ruin.
raid.
You're
the
the best.
raid.
Would I need to roll ruin for being in this water?
Yes, you two both need to roll ruin rolls for exposing yourselves to danger.
I already rolled for touching it. Do I have to roll it again?
I will say no. I think you already passed, so it'll just be Archimedes.
So ruin is a dark die, right?
Dark
Yeah.
die, Yep.
Okay. It's 2.
You don't take any additional ruin.
Yay!
As long as if that is below your current ruin.
That is my current ruin.
Ooh.
Oh.
2 is your current ruin.
It is my current ruin, yeah.
Then
It's my starting ruin, I should say.
you do gain a ruin.
No.
You do.
No.
Which means you take a condition here.
Sure.
I'm gonna pause at 1.
Sure.
So you just hulked out a little bit, to help out with Talia and setting up the rope system.
Yep.
But you feel that power again, and you've been restraining it. You've been taking, the sage and the chamomile, and the basil and the mint, and it's almost as if you have been lifting a weight, you've been bench pressing, and you've been holding out for several days now, and you finally got to drop it, and you feel that relief of and in your transformation you transform more than you wanted,
Right.
and you get taller, and you get buffer. Your clothes feel a little tighter.
I'll take that, yeah. Sounds good to me.
I think the rest of the party is going to keep moving through. Is anyone going across by foot?
So were we all going across with...
We are now all fording the river.
Okay.
Cage
I was
suggested...
gonna step forward again I was just gonna wade in just to be in there to help people if I could do that as well.
Just to guide people along.
Okay.
If anyone is not on horseback, they will be exposed to the water.
Or
Or to the blood, rather.
Right. I want to walk up to Teddy as we're approaching and starting to wade in. And I want to say first, I saw what you did. I'm a fan of your work, is all.
Thank you. Don't really take kindly to being treated like a petulant child.
I read you wrong. That was a good move.
thing about being in this sort of industry is you take all the underestimation you can get. Makes it that much sweeter when it hits.
I promise I won't tell anyone you're a genius.
Kindly appreciated.
You want a hand getting across?
Sure.
And I want to see if I can use my levitate to lift us both just slightly above the water as we go.
Is this a ritual?
It is a ritual, yeah.
Make a ruin roll.
Okay.
So you'll be adding a dark die because you're using a ritual, yeah?
Yes. And I would like to use my blood skill, I think because of because I know blood and I know what's in the river, but also because I have a piece of it on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead and use that blood skill.
Okay.
I have a devil's bargain for Shane.
Okay.
Now I think you are trying to help Teddy here.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know if you've used this ritual to help lift other people too. So as much as you're trying to help, I would love to offer a devil's bargain that you do dip Teddy in the river more than you dip yourself. Even though you're trying to help, it does end up looking a little bit more like, you're holding them lower.
Okay. All right. So basically, like, I'm trying to keep them up, but they still dip in.
Yeah. Or I'll say this: it's not the kind of like you then force Teddy to make a ruin roll, but more like it looks like you are deliberately holding them a lot lower than yourself in a way that could cause suspicion.
So not causing Teddy harm, but causing people to think that maybe I'm being a shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm fine with that. Okay. Great. Great. Yeah. Okay. Good.
So take another light die.
Okay.
So
2 4s and a 1. 2 4s on the light.
All right. Which means that you, with a 4, here we go. You succeed, but there is some kind of complication. So, the complication, first of all, is that you are dipping Teddy in a little bit here. Again, not causing directly a ruin roll, but you are making it look like you're kind of being a shit. I think the other complication is that there's something a little bit off about your ritual, maybe. It's just the act of being near this much blood, the fact that you're pulling on, some darker energies, some darker ties. As you try to float your way over the river here, you see it rise up beneath you. The blood sort of following in your trail, almost like, the opposite of Moses parting the river, but wherever you pass by, it just sort of floats up towards your feet, again, in a way that makes you look very unnatural.
I don't like that.
Everyone, if no one else is crossing the river by foot, we're gonna keep moving. Ollie's Cage is leading the charge on his stallion, and all of the horses are obviously very uncomfortable with this sensation that's crawling up their legs. It's getting in their hair, their short sort of coats. The elephant, Ollie, seems pretty perturbed by this as well, just like shaking his head, giving a as he just seems to try, like, as Howie has to kind of like encourage him to keep moving forward through the liquid. And the dogs hop in the river. They jump in and they're doggy paddling, and then you just hear as they just fall in. As they all just like are pulled under.
Can I grab one?
You could try.
Play
Make
safe,
me
Cujo.
Make me a ruin roll, I suppose. Yeah.
A risk roll.
I would
A risk
also
roll,
like to
a risk
try
roll.
and like save them.
I would like
Like
to watch
one.
them drown.
Oh
So,
my god!
I would like to scheme.
Okay.
Teddy, are you
Um,
helping Talia then?
Yes.
Okay. So Teddy, give us that one light die for your help, and Talia, describe what you're trying to do here.
I am attempting to grab the dog closest to me and lift them up out of the water, like diving for it and pull them back up. If I can use athletics to do that, I will add a light die for that. I don't know if anybody has like bargains or anything, but I would take them probably. I don't know. But otherwise, I'm just gonna roll a 1 light, 1 dark.
I do. I have a devil's bargain for you.
Mm-hmm.
My devil's bargain is that if you succeed, but the dog in panic bites you.
Yeah, I'll take that. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm gonna
2
roll
light,
these.
1 dark, and the addition of Teddy's light.
Doesn't matter what. Oh shit! What order we roll them in?
Mm-mm.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Teddy, what did you roll?
I rolled a 3 on my light.
Okay. I rolled a 3 and a 6 on my light, and I rolled a 6 on my dark.
So you'll be adding another ruin.
Do I? Because it's not my highest die. My highest die, it's like tied, right?
Dark beats, yeah.
Dark overpowers light.
Wow.
It's thematic.
Okay. I will take a
Um,
ruin.
I'm gonna describe
did get a
this.
6.
I'm gonna describe it again.
Yep.
The dogs jump in and are being pulled under, each one giving a as they are being dragged under, and bubbles are coming up from the red ichor. Teddy and Talia are closest to Cujo, the bloodhound, who just went like, oh, and just was just like dragged. And Teddy sees the other dogs going first and shouts out to Talia to grab Cujo right there. With Teddy's assistance, Talia is able to actually like dip down like side saddle and grab Cujo and pull him out.
They're on their feet.
Oh, they're in
She's
the
on her
water. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Sorry,
her
sorry.
horse is tied up. She's on her feet.
She's on her
helping
feet. So Talia jumps and lunges to grab the dog as if it like fell in a pool. And you go, and you've picked up Cujo plenty of times. You just played with him like this, right? It seems perfectly natural. Cujo seems heavy. Cujo seems bigger. There is a very intense smoking smell from where Cujo is, and the bubbles are not anything like any air escaping their lungs. It's boiling. You're feeling the water around your legs heating up. As you pull up Cujo looks as though he is like gained the musculature of like an American bully, or like one of those really massive, ripped, thick dogs, and is now entirely a sort of reddish orange hue that seems saturated. His eyes are stark white. There is no more of whatever the fuck Cujo was before. And there are now like these sort of fumes of, rot and stink and sulfur coming off of his body as he goes and will immediately jump around and bite you, will sink his canines deep into your flesh. This dog has seemingly gone mad.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I throw him. I drop him back in the water.
You are like, as you try and like get rid of him, horses are immediately spooked. Ollie, it immediately panics and begins to stampede again, despite Howie's attempts. Everyone else sees that Cujo has transformed. The other dogs that have pulled down, the river boils again, all over, and more of these dogs pop up. As they are now, they're not doggy paddling, they are like lunging forward through this water and seem to like be like making strides towards everyone in the party.
Oh my god. Can I draw my sword and like try and keep them off everybody? As I just tell people to like fucking go.
I think
I would love a risk roll from Vesla. Since we
Yes.
need Vesla to still cross. Before
Yes.
We do that.
Yep.
That
And
was
then
horrifying.
that was terrifying. Can I use negotiation to negotiate with the game masters to let me have a light die?
unfortunately no, negotiation is only in game.
I have a
yeah.
devil's bargain though.
Oh,
You were distracted by setting up your distraction. You are crossing the river late here, so I think that even if you, even if you do succeed, you are going to pass through, like right through the scalding water of the hellhounds as you're trying to cross, which you were trying to cross on horseback. But you know, that horse is going to basically get pretty boiled if you manage to get by safely.
no, that's fair. No, I'll take it. So it's 1 and 1.
1 and 1 unless anyone has another devil's bargain.
Shit. I don't know.
What
I'm
was
there.
what
Can I
was-
help?
I think you got occupied with the dogs.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
What was the other devil's bargain?
That Talia just took?
Yeah.
That you got bit.
Oh.
Okay.
No,
Oh, the
has
last one I
anyone
got.
offered Vesla a devil's bargain?
I have one. I'm gonna fall into the water.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Or the horse. The horse is
Can
gonna
The
get
horse
boiled.
gets boiled. The horse
So
gets
all the
boiled.
horse
That's the
gets
devil's bargain.
boiled. Okay.
Can I say that you also suffer burn marks, probably on your legs? So-
Yeah.
All right,
I
that's
will-
2 light dice.
I'll totally take it.
Okay.
Okay.
2 light, 1 dark.
Okay, we're safe. I got 4s on my light die, and then I got 2 on my dark die.
All right, so that means that both of these devil's bargains do happen as you are fording across the river behind the rest of the party as they are scrambling. Smith, Wesson, even the elephant are pushing their way through, stamping through the water. You are just in the spray in the aftermath, trying as much as you can to avoid getting actually hit by it. You can feel heat around your ankles. You can feel the horse squirming and bucking underneath you as you smell an acrid, nasty scent. The combination of the sulfur of the river, the salt of whatever blood is here in the water, and the slathering mouths of these dogs as they emerge. I think the complication is not only with the burns and the horse, of course, being affected, but I think you just have to make that ruin roll still. I think you get some of the blood on you, even though you were not crossing on foot.
Totally fair. Can I add an additional bad thing? Because thematic and cool. So the boiling blood splashes up onto like the shirt area, and begins to melt and seemingly starting to combine the skin, of Vesla and the shirt. So that'll be something that she'll need to get figured out after.
Okay, amazing. And so then with Talia still in the river, Vesla just coming and exiting, and everyone else exiting as the hounds are, pushing their way out. I think I'm actually going to call this another risk roll from Talia. Yeah. One more.
Okay, so we're both doing risk rolls.
You did succeed on making your way across the river. Everyone has now succeeded on that. So it's only those who are actually trying to maybe hold back the dogs or fight them.
Okay, did you want me to still make one though for getting touched by the blood?
Oh, sorry, yes. Give me
Okay.
a ruin roll. So 1 dark die.
God, fuck.
2.
And what is your current ruin?
3.
Then you're good.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely putting myself at risk. So that's 1 dark die. I am going to I can use either defense or intimidation to do this, because what I'm trying to do is I am just trying to keep the dogs at bay, and keep them from approaching. So I'm gonna add a light die.
Hey, sis.
You want to help?
Yeah.
What are you doing to help?
I'm going to roar.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Hot.
And I have my own devil's bargain thing. I don't know if that's allowed.
You can totally
But-
do that.
I'm staying in boiling water. I think I'm gonna get a little fucked up.
Sure.
Sounds good.
And I think that she's gonna take her sword and begin like brandishing it, and then perhaps we'll turn it so that the flat end is facing the dogs and just skim it across the top of the water so that it sends the water shooting back at them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna roll. I got 2 light and I have 1 dark. Unless anybody wants to add any other.
And the light
Targets.
die from Archimedes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll.
Light die. That's a 6.
Wow.
Okay. Oh fuck yes. Okay, I rolled a 4 and a 6 on the light and a 2 on the dark.
Amazing. Which means that the highest light die is a 6, both from Archimedes and from Talia, and neither of your ruin increases.
Nice.
I'm gonna let Andre hop in and finish us off.
Talia, you are just trying to hold off Cujo in this very moment. You haven't even really gauged that the other dogs have come up and surfaced either. And you're just trying to say, like, down, down! And just, like, have this thing stay the fuck away from you, because this is not Cujo anymore. And you hear Archimedes come back around, wading through the thick liquid. He's like, and gives enough of a scare to the other dogs that they are like take a second to like step back or to hesitate before advancing forward again.
Shall I do this one? Or do you
Yeah, do it. Yay. Talia, you use your sword to just skim the hot, like, boiling water onto Cujo, and as you do so, it like splashes onto him, and it just no reaction.
God. Fuck.
And as all of the dogs seem to like be moving in again, you suddenly hear way in the distance. And all the dogs, as if that's from their master, just prop up their ears, forget you, and begin swimming towards the other side of the bank. And all of the dogs look grotesque. They look more like gargoyles at this point than they do canines. as they like fully are like thundering out of the river. And then give like there's another like sort of horn like sound, just like, and the dogs are like slobbering this just like this blend of blood and saliva, and just are like scrambling over into the woods, and in like 3 seconds they're all gone, and you just hear them rustling through the brush.
Holy fuck. And as soon as like they're out of sight, she begins to like actually feel the fact that like her skin is burning, and she just like stumbles backwards and then turns around and tries to run as much as she can towards the bank, even kind of like falling into the water a little bit and then getting back up, and she wades back out, and her like, I don't know, do you think that it like burned her pants? Like have her pants burned away? Or is it just like she lifts her pant leg and somehow her skin is like mottled with burns?
I think you come out looking like a lobster, honestly. You're just red, maybe. And does Talia have leg hair?
Yeah.
Maybe you've just singed off, all that lovely leg hair.
Fuck! She comes out and she's just like cursing up a storm, and you can see that her forearms have been like, there are splatters of red where her skin has raised in welts, and it looks like someone like happened to splash like hot pasta water on her. It's all on her forearms, on her chest, on her legs.
Yeah, what's up?
What happens to Talia's weasel in this situation?
Oh, Wingman?
I would have left Wingman with the Appaloosa. Don't fucking try to kill my weasel.
You
Sam Riegel.
Fucking monster.
No, there can only be one pet in this party.
But yeah, she comes out, she's just cursing. The bite, I would say too, is probably like,
it's deep.
she's not wearing a shirt anymore, so
No.
she's like, you can see the blood just like running down the angles of her arm and her body.
You are oh, we do need to give Talia a condition though, don't we?
So I have a condition
Yes.
because I gained a ruin.
I'm going to offer the condition that sudden sensation of the boiling hot water is not just in the blood around you, but you now feel it in your blood, and you feel your blood boiling.
Yeah.
You and Archimedes, now that the hounds have gotten out of the river and have left towards whatever that sound was, the horses are like still trying to get out of the water. They are, scarred up a little bit too and burnt. And eventually, and at this point, it is getting into sunset. It has been that long of a day already. The sun has outraced you today. And after you all get out and check everything, it seems as though only the horses really got burnt a little bit that were still in the river. Ollie seems fine, Wingman's fine,
Good.
Greenie's fine, but all of the dogs have been lost at this point. Now, Vesla. We need to circle back to a treasure that you were searching for with a distraction earlier before this scene. And you did not get a chance to read it until this moment because of Cage's orders. You have your own ambitions. Of course, you want to know everything that there is to know. But you keep your own intel as well. As you were rifling through all of the belongings that Cage kept and was able to salvage from the truck that was impaled, you find some files on each of the members. And a lot of these are very familiar to you because you've written them yourself. These are notes that you have given him regarding the others in the party. You do realize there is also one for you. And there's very little on it except notes about how there's conflict between you two. And the note, lost jewel.
Son of a bitch. Well, I legit think that most of the time Vesla is very contained. However, at this point, fording this river, getting boiled from the ankles, halfway up the leg, on the chest, ripping apart the turtleneck to stop the fusion of fabric to skin, showing this overly scarred area near the collarbone. Reading this just out loud, just goes, son of a bitch. And just tucks it away. Actually, no. We're gonna put that in the river.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
As you toss the paper in, the river is still boiling, by the way. It has not stopped since the dogs were transformed. You see it fall in, and all the bubbling, the paper sits and then slowly covers Scarlet, and then catches fire, and then the fire continues to travel down the artery.
Could you retroactively count that as like a restoration roll or whatever those joints are called?
Vesla, are you at 5 ruin? No.
I haven't gained a single one.
Nope.
So you can't use that.
However, hey nature, you and me. No, I was kidding. I do have one more small thing. If we don't mind, it's only gonna take me like half a minute.
Sure. Go for it.
Hey, Sloan. Are you okay if I get a little what's the right word?
Heated?
Tough.
Oh. Yeah, sure.
Okay. And in this stage of rage which Vesla's in, which really just looks like a snarl, no longer a smirk. Vesla walks over, go to Talia and goes, "You look hurt."
Yeah, fuck. It burned the shit out of my everything. My leg hair's gone.
Are you sitting, standing? What's your kind of position?
She's currently like standing and she has pulled her trousers up to investigate underneath them, kind of like dumbfounded by the fact that they're not burnt. And you can see that her skin is just like mottled red and deeper red beneath it and bare.
Go ahead.
Real quick, Serenity, can you check chat?
Yes.
Just want to make sure.
What happened? Where's chat?
Just checking the mute chat for us.
Oh, yeah.
Just checking.
That the safety tools were used, or
Just
Oh,
making
okay,
sure
yeah.
that this isn't gonna involve any like boundaries or anything like that.
no, it
Cool.
shouldn't.
Just checking.
Well, what's gonna happen is, Vesla is gonna go ahead, kind of look around, make sure no one's really watching, and then we'll take a hand onto Talia's shoulder, and we'll kind of push them towards like the tree line.
Ow, Jesus, what the fuck?
Shh. And then we'll pull out a jar, uncork it, and put it up to their lips and whisper, "You owe me muscles.
For what?
Drink."
Is this gonna kill me?
If I was trying to kill you, I would have already. Drink.
She's gonna drink it.
I utilize my item, which was in my pack, which is troll blood. You heal one ruin.
Oh shit!
Oh my. Yeah, what does it feel like? Do you want to describe it?
Imagine. So it looks absolutely disgusting. Just this heavy, sickening ichor, very similar to how the river looked, but just this putrid green. As it's uncorked, it just smells foul. A slight kind of like steam coming out of it. And as they raise it to your lips and you drink, it's thick and viscous. However, the taste, probably one of the worst things you've ever tasted. If you've just think of like just something molded or gross, expired. But as you feel it running down your throat to your stomach, and then go through your veins as the burns don't get any better, but I think almost like a coolant. The troll blood kind of almost cools the blood boiling to kind of just muffle it.
Oh shit. That's good. It tastes awful. But it felt good. What is this?
It's hard to find. You owe me.
Well, thanks. I guess I do.
And they'll just turn and walk away. Thank you.
You're welcome. Despite everything that just happened, Cage is dogged.
Nice.
Thanks, Talia. Cage seems dead set on trying to find this unicorn right now. Even though he just lost arguably his main form of trying to find the unicorn, he is pushing everyone to continue moving through the wood. Even into the night. The sun sets, and the moon rises. It is a brighter night as the moon is a little bit fuller, and you can see the moonlight, the blue sort of sheens trickling in from through the canopy, through the leaves. But because the leaves are red, they're actually turning them a bit of a purple tone. As you guys are moving forward, everyone is able to see in the distance there is a distinctly yellowish tone coming from underneath a tree. I will say, Shane, since you discovered this, and also Talia, I'll say, you two start noticing, you remember the markings that you had seen before, yes? You start seeing several like it, not duplicates, but several similar looking images carved everywhere. In rocks, in other trees. Even drawn into the ground today. Cage notices this as well. And has everyone continue just the main 6 of you moving forward on foot and leaving the rest of the pack to guard the horses and Ollie to investigate what that light is. You all continue to creep forward through the brush on this sort of stealth mission. You hear as Cage cocks his gun, his gigantic pistol that looks more equipped to shoot a gorilla than a person. Some of the symbols on the trees, they all look similar-ish. Some of them start to glow a little bit. But there is a rock a little bit further away that seems to have a different sort of image on top of it. Something very rough and sharp. This figure seems to have a lot of those streak lines at the bottom, not just 4. Several coming from the sort of what you can surmise is the front, and then a sort of rectangular shape with loads and loads of like hatch marking atop that. You inch forward, closer, 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 and you hear, I think I'll get him. I think, yes. Maybe I can do the unicorn. I can get them. And as you get closer, you see behind one of these roots that's sort of making the sort of like makeshift den. A lithe old man is dancing around and saying, I'll get it, I'll get them, and then I'll get it, and then I can, and then, but the horn, and then, Cage, like a panther, slinks towards him. Who the hell are you? And he goes, you're them. I saw you. I saw you. And then we'll grab it looks like he's reaching for a dagger, a blade, a sword, something, and just whips out a teeny little twig. Do you want to stay for dinner? And that's where we're ending this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Can I say, it feels like fucking 3 years ago that I was naming that elephant Ollie.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
That was back when we were young.
And we were young.
Back when we had hope and dogs.
Back when we
Bro,
had
once you take the
hope
dogs
and
away, the hope is
time.
gone.
Can,
To
can
the
I
good,
title
the
the
day.
episode? Back when we had hope and dogs.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into Ring 2 of the Unicorn Hunt. Tune in next week for Ring 3. We're going to see who the hell this guy is. Thanks again to Soundtail for providing all of the atmospheric vibbies. I have been Andre. This has been Alex. And thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next week. Take care, everybody.
Hey, you can catch up with past episodes on our YouTube. So
That's
find us
right.
at Total Pretty Kiss on YouTube. And hit the subscribe button.
Thanks so much, everybody. See you later.
Bye.